please make your voice heard, because we want to know as much as possible, like what you need as you are continuing to build and scale up and grow your business on Heartbeat. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to dive into what we've got ready for today. So I'm going to go ahead and share. We're going to jump over. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is really like what we have done over the last month. Now, as we dive into this, what I want to talk about is just how we are thinking about reliability and getting better and better at this as we continue to scale. And what sort of prompted this conversation is it came up a little bit through the product market fit survey that we ran a few weeks back. And then we had some incidents that popped up over the past few weeks. We had some issues with the 502 errors on custom domains. This was specifically affecting folks in the EU. And so folks that were trying to access their communities were getting hit by 502 errors. Within a couple of days, we released a fix that allowed you to update your domain, the backend settings of it, to help get rid of this. If you are still running into any kind of like slowness on your custom domain or things like that, we'd recommend you go through the upgrade process. If you just go to the custom domain tab in your settings, this will walk you through the process. It's pretty simple. It takes like 5 minutes. But we saw this issue pop up. We had an issue with paid community, basically when we were updating Heartbeat for the most recent iOS update, 18.5, if I'm remembering correctly. There was an issue where people couldn't access the community because it had this like paid community only sign that popped up. And then most recently, we actually had a DDoS issue that popped up on Sunday, which took Heartbeat down for a couple hours. And so in seeing these kind of like three issues happen in short succession, one of the biggest things we really recognize internally is that we need to lean a lot more aggressively into how we approach reliability as we continue to scale Heartbeat. We kind of see this as like growing pains as we continue to grow and build up the business. We're now at 3 times the scale we were the same time last year. We're seeing 50% more communities each week versus what we were seeing about 6 months ago. And so we're seeing so much growth happen around the platform that, when you build a business and you start growing and scaling the stuff, most of what you're focusing on is, hey, how do we solve problems? But now we need to think about these questions of how do we solve these massive problems at scale for thousands of communities and hundreds of thousands of users that are actively using Heartbeat. And so as we dig into this and as we really focus on addressing these growing pains, what we're looking at now is a deeper emphasis on reliability from the engineering standpoint. We're going to contract a performance consultant right now. We've actually found the person that we want to work with. And so we are in the final stages of bringing this person on board, working more directly with them to proactively address not only the problems that we've run into most recently, but what are the next problems that we're going to run into over the next 6-month period, the next 12-month period, and how do we get ahead of that so that you have the most stable platform to build your community on. We are scaling up the engineering team a little bit more this summer as well too. This will help Mehul just kind of offload some of the stuff that's popping on his plate, because we want to make sure that we have engineers that can maintain a lot of the existing code while Mehul goes out and builds out a lot of these new features that help make your community better. We're looking at internal improvements around monitoring. We've already built out some really powerful internal dashboards for us to proactively figure out, hey, if something goes wrong, does this have cascading effects that causes other breakage? Improved incident response processes for our support team. And then the biggest thing is, auditing a lot of our internal endpoints and email sending to prevent any kind of abuse moving forward. So these are some of the biggest things that we're looking at. And the way that I see this is, as you continue to grow, there's just going to be more things that you run into issues with, right? The things that allowed Heartbeat to stay really strong and stable 2 years ago are not going to be the same today. And we have to keep updating and improving these processes. And what I'm excited about is getting the resources that actually allow us to now do this way more proactively, so that you don't run into these issues. We're able to check them out. We're able to see that, hey, in 6 months, we're going to start hitting this problem, and we can go ahead and proactively start responding to that and fixing it.